Empire Total War is the step to the next generation, and oh boy do you feel it. The huge ambitions of having essentially 3 campaign maps together with Europe, America and India, the change of eras making nearly everything created from previous games completely obsolete, and it is a big change. The technological advancements from year 200 to year 1500 are nothing compared to the technological advancements of year 1700 to the year 1800. It's a hell of an undertaking to take something like this on. Medieval 2 dabbled in some gunpowder units, but nothing on this scale, and yeah, I'm getting ahead of myself. Empire encompasses the years 1700 to 1799, a time full of emerging colonial powers and conflicts that I'd describe as proto-world wars. The year 1700 starts and off you go doing your own thing. The pre-established alliances are something new for the franchise, and it molds the way you play a lot of the time. Going after the minor nation of Denmark as Sweden won't be without consequences, since its allies of Poland, Lithuania, and Russia will undoubtedly join against you. No matter what conflict starts, it's very likely to become bigger due to the nature of the complicated diplomacies of the game. Overall, it's not just the battles being gunpowder based that have changed, it's almost everything else too. There are naval battles now, and while I personally don't understand them and how to fully play them efficiently, I would be lying if I said they weren't fun. Trying your best to make sure that higher-end ships don't sink so you could board it and claim it as your own is engaging and exciting. They're also visually beautiful to this day. The smoke from the guns and the splashes from the sea from missed cannon shots are a sight to behold. I dare say that the pathfinding AI for the naval battles is also quite horrible, with all ships choosing to really close the distance at times for no reason, while also never keeping their sides visible to pepper the enemy with broadside cannons. I don't know naval tactics, so maybe they purposely never would want to use their broadsides, but for some reason I'm doubting it. The land battles are also very reliant now on artillery and gunpowder, leading to battles of firing lines and canister shots, peppering incoming cavalry. But that doesn't mean melee is completely out of the question. Harassing cavalry, if anything, might be more meaningful now than ever, with a good cavalry charge causing a cascade of panic among a dozen units, causing a mass evacuation, winning battles with almost no blood being shed. It's a sight to behold. Also, routing is no longer a near guaranteed running away of enemies. Instead, troops will much more likely be gaining composure and returning to the battlefield once again ready to take more of a beating, so suddenly, you actually have to care about your positioning more. The battle AI is also quite stupid, however, with units zigzagging back and forth into your firing range, undecisive of if they want to engage you or not. But occasionally, the AI shows moments of clever tactics, with cavalry often engaging in flanking maneuvers. So, it's a bit of this and a bit of that. But the biggest nail in the coffin for the AI standing a chance is the fact that more often than not, units just won't listen to you. Cannons won't readjust who they aim at, part of the cavalry refuses to retreat after a charge, and infantry just won't care about where they're meant to run. That doesn't even cover the terrible charges of the cavalry, which literally has a good chance of the units completely missing their target if you dare use more than one unit. This is half-baked, and that's me being generous. When your defending forts becomes useless because no one wants to man the cannons, then your problems are on the base level. It's a shame too, since otherwise, these are very fun battles. In fact, there's another issue with the forts, and this one's not so forgivable. The new engine has issues with fort pathfinding for the AI, causing the engine to literally just overload, which in turn leads to insane amounts of lag at higher speeds. From what I can see, it's due to the AI giving a command, stopping, and doing so over and over, likely due to fort walls breaking and therefore paths becoming unnavigable. But I could easily be wrong. Point being, for many, just this single issue can be enough to cause them to quit. I personally pushed through it and found out that when attacking the walls, the AI starts dealing with you more, leading to the lag disappearing. But perhaps the biggest change is on the campaign map. The map's now split into areas. One military area, a region capital, and a bunch of one-building economic areas. So Finland, for example, would be a single region with a single capital, but it also has 6 or so villages with specific focuses, like a port town, a mining town, a farming estate, and so on. I like and dislike it at the same time. One issue is that it trivializes entire countries and giant swaths of land. However, it'd be ignorant to say that the original games didn't do the same, with only Western Europe having a ton of castles and the rest of the world being pretty barren, even when historically that wasn't the case. I also like that this forces you to deal with a little bit of everything. You can't just have a ton of the same type of settlements and have that be it. Instead, you'll be inevitably encouraged to develop every type of industry, which makes the game feel a lot more varied. There's also a research tree, which is actually quite interesting. I especially recommend reading the flavor texts, as they present a good bite-sized chunk of history that's been very interesting, at least to me. Sadly, the personality and immersion aspects of the game are basically gone. No more speeches, no more emphasis on character traits, and so the dynamic and emergent storytelling that was unique to the earlier games is sadly gone. I personally think that everything that Empire does is already ambitious enough, and with the added slant of more history being crammed into the game if you look into it, I'm just not mad about it. I can absolutely live and let live. But if you played Rome because it was also fun to have a drunkard of a general talk about how the enemy are arseweasels, then you'll be sorely disappointed. So, overall, you have massive gaps in technical prowess with the AI, lack of personalization for your campaigns, and a system that trivializes entire nations on the campaign map. That's bad, but for me, it's all made up by the ambitiousness never seen before in Total War. The massive maps, the attempts at reworking systems, the new naval battles, and the dedication of exhibiting the history behind the world presented is enough of a step forward for Empire to be, if not my complete favorite, a definite step towards something fresh and exciting. Thanks for watching.